Hey there, Bill O'Leary coming to you live as part of our Thirsty Thursday series. Every Thursday at about this time, I'm going to be talking about a topic of interest as it relates to estate planning. So if you are thirsting for knowledge and information, then you've come to the right place. So today's topic is who needs estate planning? Estate planning is very important, but most people procrastinate. In fact, over one half, I think almost 60%, the latest studies show, don't even have a simple will. So these people miss out on the chance to decide who gets what and when. They miss out on being able to keep their loved ones from being bogged down in the court system after they die or become incapacitated. They miss out on being able to protect the kids' inheritance from things like getting a divorce or a lawsuit, such as a car accident. Last week, the Thirsty Thursday topic was how to choose an estate planning attorney. Today, I want to shift focus and talk about who needs estate planning. You might think you don't need it, that you have nothing to worry about, but you might be surprised to learn that you and many others need estate planning in a bad way. So what is estate planning? Well, really, it's nothing but the process of, arranging for the distribution and management of your assets after you die. So, in other words, estate planning means selecting the heirs for your estate. And everything that you own is part of your estate, whether it's your real estate, your car, your valuables. It can include money, stocks, bonds, life insurance, retirement savings, bank accounts, and even, let's say, things you own jointly with somebody else, like a joint account. And even those things that have sentimental value, you're going to want to specify who gets it. This will ensure that your loved ones will get your assets instead of a probate lawyer or, worse yet, the IRS. So who needs estate planning? Well, every individual needs to plan their estate. It seems like people spend more time planning a vacation or buying a car or deciding what restaurant to go to for dinner than they spend on their estate planning. Deciding who will inherit your assets after you're gone may not be as fun as booking a trip or reading restaurant reviews, but look, you can't choose who gets everything you've worked a lifetime for without a good estate plan. It's easy putting off answering uncomfortable questions like, well, gee, what happens to my assets after I die? Nobody likes to think about that. And again, it's no surprise that most people don't have a will. If you've not planned for these aspects of your estate, well, guess what? The legal system will decide who's going to get it and will pick someone to do this for you, and you'll have no control over that process. After your death, your property will be distributed among your heirs according to state succession rules, what we call dying intestate. So how many of us could benefit from an estate plan? And for that matter, again, what is an estate plan? And really, how does it differ from a will? Well, a will is a relatively straightforward, simple document where you're able to set forth your wishes for how your assets are going to be distributed. And it can also include instructions if you have minor children on who's going to take care of them and be their guardian. But a will is just a start. An estate plan goes much further than a will. It can keep your loved ones, for example, out of the probate court system, or it can protect your kids' inheritance from the divorce and lawsuit scenario. So what are some reasons to get an estate plan? Well, let's start off with the arrival of children. Certain major life events make it important to get an estate plan, and especially significant is the birth of a child. So consider the young married couple having their first child. How would the child be provided for if both were to die, let's say in a car accident? Well, drafting a will provides the opportunity for a parent to name a guardian to take care of a child if something were to happen to them. Without a will that names a guardian, the court system is going to step in to decide who's going to raise your children. But while naming a guardian for the kids is important, it's just one step. In addition to having a guardian to take responsibility for the kids for their care and custody, a guardian also will be necessary to manage the assets that your child's going to inherit. And a will may not be enough to do this. Often a trust is needed to manage those assets for the children. This is a perfect example of an estate plan, and of someone who needs an estate plan. How about protecting adult children? Again, as I mentioned, getting an estate plan is a great way to protect a child's inheritance, either from themselves or from other people. So, what do I mean from themselves? Well, a trust can be set up to protect an irresponsible child from their wasteful spending habits or perhaps their risky behaviors like maybe, addiction or gambling. Maybe it would be best for that child to not inherit a lump sum. Well, what about the responsible adult child? Well, a trust can also be set up for them to protect the inheritance from the divorce and lawsuit scenario. So if you have a child who has an overbearing spouse who you fear will squander the child's inheritance or take it in a divorce, you can create an estate plan that will protect the child. And it can be done in a way where the child is still in control of their own inheritance. How about probate concerns? Well, another good reason to have an estate plan is to avoid the probate process. Probate can be very expensive and take a long time. Plus, it is very public. There's no privacy for the family. A probate is just a court process of validating a deceased person's will and placing a value on their assets, making sure the final bills are paid and taxes are paid, and distributing the rest to the beneficiaries. Well, there's several big problems with probate. Number one, it's expensive. Probate fees can be quite substantial, even for the most basic case and not involving family conflict. Attorney's fees and court costs can take between 3 and 5% of the estate's value. Problem number two, long delays. It takes a long time. In fact, the average uncontested probate can take, between 9 and 15 months, so longer than a year. Number three, there is a loss of privacy. Anyone can gain access from the probate court. For example, relatives can get your probate records to challenge your will. Creditors can find out what's in your will. With proper planning, these problems can be avoided. And avoiding probate is by far the most common reason why people seek out the advice of an estate planning lawyer to put together an estate plan. And while most people have never dealt with probate before, they still know one thing: they want to avoid it at all costs. They've heard the probate horror stories, perhaps covered in the media, or maybe that they heard at the water cooler at work, or from family and friends. For the vast majority of people, avoiding probate is a very good reason for creating an estate plan, and this can be easily achieved. How about preventing a family mess? We've all heard the tragic situation where somebody with money dies and war between family members begins. One sibling may think they deserve more than another, or one of the siblings may think they should be in charge of the finances, even though they've been known over the years for racking up debt. And the squabbling can get ugly and end up in court with family members pitted against each other. Stopping fights before they start is another reason why an estate plan is necessary. This will enable you to choose who controls your finances, and will go a long way towards preventing any family strife and ensuring that your assets are handled in a way that you intend. Well, what about protecting your assets? Somebody that wants to protect their assets needs an estate plan. Asset protection planning has become a really important reason why many people, including those people that already have an estate plan, are meeting with their estate planning lawyer. Once you know or suspect that a lawsuit's on the horizon, it's too late to put a plan in place that's going to protect your assets. Instead, you need to start now with not only a sound financial plan, but a comprehensive estate plan that's going to protect your assets, not only for while you're alive, but also for your beneficiaries after you die. And then, lastly, a couple of special circumstances I want to talk about where an estate plan, would be a good idea. Number one, blended families, and number two, families that have special needs loved ones. So let's talk about blended families. Are you in a second marriage where one or both of you has children from the prior marriage? Boy, do you need an estate plan badly. Your planning is complicated. For example, you may want to leave a different inheritance for your biological children than you do for your stepchildren, or you may want to protect your biological children's inheritance in the event that your your new spouse, your current spouse, gets remarried after you die. A solid estate plan can help prepare for this, but unfortunately, many people in second marriages don't even realize how badly they need an estate plan until it's too late. But what about loved ones with special needs? Well, there are specific trusts that can be set up for a disabled loved one that is structured in a way that allows the beneficiary to continue to qualify for public assistance, typically things known as supplemental security income or SSI and Medicaid. So these are some sort of examples or situations where that show the types of people and types of situations where an estate plan makes a whole lot of sense. You know, I just wanted to share that with you, and if you're interested in finding out for yourself if an estate plan might make sense for you, well, I'd encourage you to go ahead and take a step and book a call with us through our scheduling system. So you can book a free 15-minute phone call with us. Just go to the Legacy Planning Law Group main Facebook page and select the Book Now button. And again, we can talk to you about you and your situation, whether an estate plan might make sense for you. Also give us a chance to chat to see if we might be a good fit for each other. And again, that call is complimentary. Or if you'd rather just call us directly, just call us at the office at 904-880-5554 and ask to speak to Cindy, our client service director, or maybe just Google us on just Google us to find out more about us. So I hope you've enjoyed this talk on who needs estate planning. I plan to give another Facebook Live talk again next Thursday at the same time as part of our Thirsty Thursday series. Same time, same day, different topic. So if you're thirsting for knowledge, we will certainly quench your thirst. So this is Bill O'Leary signing off for now, and on behalf of everybody here at Legacy Planning Law Group, who we like to call Team Legacy, I want to thank you for spending some time with us this afternoon, and go make it a great day.